We are outside the Utah State Correctional Facility. It's about 3 in the morning. It's been a very long day for the witnesses and those covering the execution. Jim Spiewak was one of 7 media witnesses there as part of the accountability for the government as they carry out this execution today. Is this something that you've done before?
No, this is my first time. I mean, the entire process. I mean, even covering and reporting on someone that's on death row, this is my first time, and my first time in the actual witness box, just a couple feet away from Taberon Honie, who died just a few hours ago.
Was it something that you were concerned or worried about leading up to it, because you're obviously going into this knowing that you were going to watch someone die?
Yeah, I mean, my entire frame of mind going in was, I hope nothing goes wrong with this. This is the justice system that we have. He committed this heinous crime back in the late 1990s, and he has gone through the process. He has appealed, he has filed lawsuits, he has filed petitions, he has tried for commutation. None of those things worked out. So this is the justice system which got us to this point. And the thing for me was, I hoped that I would witness him basically just falling asleep and not waking up, and that's really what happened. It took about 17 minutes from the very first lethal dose injection to when they pulled the sheet over him. They had a little EKG monitor sitting on the table right next to his head that they were constantly monitoring. We found out that they had to give him 2 doses of the pentobarbital.
Did you know at the time that they were giving the second dose?
No, we did not. I actually wrote down in my notes, I saw some fluid going through one of the tubes. Didn't know at the time that it was a second dose, and that's something that they did not tell us. In that room, it was a very small room. It was very dimly lit. There was no clock, and when you're watching someone die right in front of you, you kind of lose sense of time. But after it was announced that the execution was going to start, he was very calm the entire time. He did lift his head up at the very beginning, and he mouthed over to his family through the window, "I love you," and then put his head back down. One of his legs was twitching for just a few moments, and I made a point to look at his chest for his breathing. And it seemed like after maybe the first 3 or 4 minutes, I didn't see his chest move anymore. But it was calm. He laid there. He really didn't move after that. But we didn't know that there were 2 doses until the debrief well after the fact.
One interesting thing as we're watching and listening throughout the day is that the tone was that he was amicable, he was gracious to those throughout the day. Were you surprised by, I guess, his demeanor going into the death chamber?
Surprised? I'm not sure. I really didn't know what to expect, honestly. He did say, and we didn't find this out again until the debrief, that he thanked the warden for how he was treated during this whole process. And in his final words, he said the words, "If this needs to be done for them to heal," meaning the victim's family, quote, "let's do this." And it seemed almost as if he had his mind made up, and he had come to terms with the fact that this was happening. Really didn't know what to expect going into it, knowing that his life was going to be taken, in just a few moments. But from all accounts, from what I witnessed, it seemed like he had accepted it and he was ready for it.
Most people don't wake up and go to work knowing that they're going to watch someone die. After doing this, Utah's only executed 8 people since 1976. It doesn't happen often, but as a journalist and knowing that part of what our job is to hold the powerful accountable, in this case, the state of Utah, as they're carrying out this execution, would you be willing to do this again?
Yeah, I probably would. I think that it's important. What we do is important, to be the eyes and ears of others that can't be in that witness room. I probably would, and I would do it for that reason, because I hold very close the fact that we can be those eyes and ears. We can see if something goes wrong. Nothing went wrong tonight, and that's good in the grand scheme of things. But this is what we sign up for. And I asked the executive director about what their feelings were, and they said, listen, we check our feelings at the door, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And for me, I would say I probably would raise my hand again if called to see something like this, but it's not lost on me that someone lost their life here today. and that is a heavy thing. And so as I stand here right now, I say yes, I would, but maybe if I sleep on it for a few more nights, I don't know, maybe my mind might change, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings.
Yeah, it has been a long day, and I think we've seen the human side of Taberon Honie, but important to note that as this all started, it started with the loss of life of someone else that was graphic and violent. Before we go, anything else you would want people to know?
I just think that from what I witnessed, it seemed like it went as smoothly as it could. As I was saying all throughout the day, and I'll say it right now, I really just hoped that I would witness what appeared someone falling asleep and then just not waking up, and that's what happened. There was no signs of trauma, there was no signs of struggle, there was no signs of anything else other than the fact that, yes, his heart eventually stopped and he stopped breathing, of course. But leading up to that exact moment, it looked like someone went to sleep and just didn't wake up.
All right, Jim Spiewak, a journalist serving as a witness for the state of Utah tonight. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. And for those of you who've been listening, thank you for being a part of this as we have witnessed this for ourselves today.